Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, we are marking a milestone. We have just finished the 20th 10 out of 10 Harbinger run. I have finished. That means that I've killed well over 200 Harbingers because remember, I've had a few builds get all the way to empowered monos and I've killed a few Harbingers then, but I never made videos on them because they weren't really good builds and I was dissatisfied with them, so I deleted the characters. So now we're at number 200 Mr. Harbingers. And let me tell you, I have some stuff to talk about. Oh boy, we have some stuff to talk about. First things off, first thing, if you were to do the math here, if I killed 200 Harbingers, right, which is a good estimate, and each one of them, each Harbinger takes 2 to 4 minutes, right? That means that I have essentially spent about 7 to 10 hours killing Harbingers straight. Mind you, straight. Just straight 10 hours killing them. So I'm probably, without a shadow of a doubt, probably one of the most skilled Harbinger killers in the entire game. Because remember, I'm killing the Harbingers with builds that aren't necessarily that good. Tempest Strike. Which means that, I actually interact with them instead of just blowing them up. Because I'm sure there are people who have killed Harbingers more than me, mind you. But have they killed them all in the 10 out of 10 progression? I think not. No one is psychotic enough to do that. So I'm probably going to end up taking the mantle for that, as I'm probably one of the only people on this planet that has actually freshly restarted the game enough times to do this. And let me tell you, it was a ride. So now that we've done this like psychotic, episode of waiting 9 months for the next patch, what are my thoughts on the Harbingers? Well, I think, simply put, they're okay boss fights. They're okay. The biggest problem that I have with them is most of their danger doesn't come from their mechanics, the damage they do. None of that. Their danger just comes from how chunky they are. I've played bad builds. I've played mediocre builds. I've played average builds, I've played strong builds, and I've played just generically overpowered builds that delete Harbingers in seconds. And let me tell you, on the average side, it would take about maybe 2 to 4 minutes to kill them on average on day 1 progression if you're playing a quote-unquote normal build. I'm not talking about Falconer. I'm not talking about Tornado Werebear. All these characters that instantly delete the Harbingers. Remember, I might be killing these guys in 2 to 4 minutes because I know what I'm doing because I've done it so many times in a row and I've been playing Last Epoch for years at this point. So I have a certain amount of knowledge that allows me to kill them faster. Remember, this is a new player we're talking about, right? They're not going to have that same amount of knowledge. The Harbinger that takes me maybe 2 minutes to kill, right, on a decent build might take a new player 3 to 4 minutes, because not only do they not have the move sets normalized in their brain like I have now, and I can pretty much tell exactly which move the Harbinger is going to do just by watching what it's doing. Also, as well, they don't know when to dodge. They don't know the DPS windows. They don't know any of that, right? Which means that, like, in theory, new players, when they start playing the game and they first get to their first few Harbingers and stuff, it's not very easy for them, like, at all. I'm pretty sure that, like, if people actually got to, empowered monoliths, unlike most of the player base at this point, that means that, like, they'll interact with the Harbingers and they'll quit the game because I'll be honest, they are insanely overpowered for when you interact with them. Now, of course, the astute of you know that, of course, like me and like Perry and people who play the game way too often don't have this issue. And I'm sure a lot of people in my YouTube comment section are going to lecture me on how they feel about this. But for the average casual player, the Harbingers, I think they have way too much HP. Now, of course, this could be fixed by, let's say, making boss ward decay faster, like they've talked about. This could be fixed by just reducing their HP. But the biggest problem is they are too tanky for what they're doing, because you go from the normal content in the game, normal monoliths, right? And then you go into empowered monoliths, and the difficulty spike is like tenfold if you're trying to do your 10 out of 10 Harbinger run. Now, of course, I am trying to do these Harbinger runs as fast as possible. On average, these runs would take me around 8 to 14 hours, depending on like what build I'm playing and how comfortable I am. Because remember, when I started this journey, right, I wanted to play different builds. So every single time that I started a new run, I played a completely new entire build, which means half the time for most of these runs, I'm just trying to figure out what build I want to play, dude. Like, for instance, like with the Spark Charge Spellblade, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just throwing random bullshit at the window and trying to figure out what I was going to play, right? Now, if I was to play the same build over and over again, like a Falconer, right, I would probably be able to get it down from 8 hours very easily. Now, of course, because of that, I'm dealing with the Harbingers at the most difficult time possible, i.e., when you have no gear at level 70 with no gear or anything like that, right? And that means that, of course, they're going to be significantly more difficult. But like I said, I am way more knowledgeable than your average person about the video game. I can succinctly say that, and I can prove it by literally all of the footage of me killing over 200 Harbingers that I have on my drive. So because of this, it means that if I'm having a slight issue with a problem with them, that means that if you're a new player, you're probably having way more issues than I am. Like, for instance, did you know that there is a very specific order of which the Lady Harbingers do their attacks? Like, did you know that? Did you know that there's a very specific order? You know how I know that? Because I've been fighting them for so long that one time I accidentally stunned one out of their rotation and they kept bugging. They kept bugging out and I immediately noticed it. Turns out, when you do it so long, if you kill 100 Lady Harbingers in a row, you will notice when they are bugged, because like you'll be like, wow, wait, aren't you supposed to do this move? Aren't you supposed to do that move? It was very disorienting for those 2 runs where I kept stunning her too many times. So that's kind of fun. Did you know that the void pools from the Fat Harbingers are completely random and have no like rhyme or reason for when they shoot out possible? I didn't know that until now. Turns out, no matter what you do, they are always random, those little void pools. Or I haven't been able to suss out a reasoning behind the randomness of the void pools. If someone else knows, please let me know. But from what I have seen from killing 100 Fat Harbingers in progression like I have, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, right? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with those void pools. So that's cool. But after all of this, what is my feedback for the Harbingers? I think that they are cool fights. I think they're fun. Fuck the Harbinger of Chaos, the one in the Lagan area. That one needs to get fixed. Put them in the smaller arena. Don't have him in the upper arena where Lagan is. It is insanely disorienting, and it makes that fight specifically significantly harder than the other fights. All of the other fights are nowhere near as difficult as that one, because that one you have to deal with the cold wave stunning you at the time, right? Remember, I am fighting them at like level 70, right? So like I am going to get stunned by those cold waves if I'm not playing the most tanky of builds, right? So I'm going to get stunned by those cold waves. And also as well, it's in such a small arena that like it just doesn't feel like, you feel kind of like claustrophobic in a way. Now, of course, if that was the intended thing that they wanted, bravo. Like, I gotta clap for you, man, because you did a great job. Like, if you wanted me to feel claustrophobic, that's good. But for your average casual gamer, I don't think that that's a very good idea, as it's just gonna make them have a quit moment, which I severely don't want, right? So yeah. Other things. The heart and fight, the void heart and fight in the one specific mono, right? The worms, they make that fight a little bit more difficult than normal, mainly because the void worms do a decent amount of damage. You can actually kill them and you can like go to one side of the arena, fix it, but there are certain skills that can't target the void worms. Like, you know, when I had that 6 minute long Harbinger fight with my Tempest Strike build, because Tempest Strike and the Gathering Storm bolts couldn't hit the void worms. Yeah, that fucking sucked. Yeah, that sucked a lot, dude. So maybe fix the void worms so you can actually target them with certain things like smite and of course Gathering Storm. That would be great. Other than that, no, there's no other suggestions for the Harbingers. I feel like they're pretty good in the game. If you want to give EHG some suggestions as well, leave it down below. I just wanted to ramble about my experience of killing 200 of these fucking things. Also, as well, I've killed Oribus a lot. And let me tell you, even after killing Oribus so many times, I've had a good time with it. I really can't complain about Oribus right now. I'm really happy with the current state of Oribus. Now, with all that being said, this has been Dread. Off to go make the Zero to Hero episode on the build that you're seeing in the background, the Lethal Mirage one. And time to go, I don't know, touch grass or something. Let's be real. I'm going to start number 21 here soon. Fuck touching grass, dude. We still got like a whole month till next badge.